Welcome back to the stream. Hi, everybody. Hello, everybody. It's time for more funny bear game. It's time for a more funny bear game. So again, this is not my first playthrough. I have to remind everybody at the beginning of the stream, this is not my first playthrough. I just want... Oh, I don't have enough SP for this. Whatever, I don't need it. Let's begin the trial. Again, this is not my first... Well, it is, but I know what happens.
The basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results.
We're not going for bad ending because I don't have time, but,
if you can figure out who done it, then only...
Why does he sound so, like, breathy in this game?
If you pick the wrong, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened. And okay, well, I'll leave the rest up to you.
Well then, let's discuss the specifics of the victim. First, we need to clarify who exactly the unidentified victim is.
It's Kyoko. There's no other explanation.
But Kyoko's standing right there.
No, that's a ghost!
But she has legs and stuff.
Well, that's just because...
Can ghosts not have legs? Yeah.
Technology.
What? But also, yeah. Like, can ghosts not have legs?
There's a limit to how much ridiculousness I can tolerate.
Okay. So I just have to prove that the corpse isn't Kyoko, right? Then let's compare Kyoko's traits to the traits of the dead body.
The traits are that Kyoko is literally standing right there. Huh?
Her traits?
I got it! I'm talking about her gloves. They'll give us some insight into the mystery. I'm sure of it.
In that case, I think it would be helpful if someone explained why she actually wears those gloves.
And would you happen to know the answer?
In fact, Monokuma told me. Apparently you have scars on your hands you don't want anyone to see.
Oh! You know, now that I think about it, the corpse wasn't wearing any gloves, right?
They probably just got burnt up in the explosion. I'm not convinced. The ghost is just trying to fool us all.
There's no way the corpse was Kyoko, but if I can't prove why, the case, we're gonna be stuck here with no ways to move forward. But, so I have no choice but to what? It's either the fake nails or the tattoo on the right hand, right? Unless it's the...
Kyoko there is just a ghost. Okay, then prove it. Prove she's not a ghost.
That's a Hagakure moment.
They got burnt up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves before the explosion.
Well, yeah, she must have been wearing gloves. Because that corpse is absolutely Kyoko.
This entire discussion is idiotic.
That Kyoko there is just a
Okay, then prove it.
The dead body wasn't.
They got burnt up in the...
Then she was wearing gloves.
well, yeah, she must have. Because that corpse is absolutely.
This entire discussion...
I forgot the controls.
That Kyoko there is just a ghost.
How do you focus? R button focus.
Okay, then prove it.
The dead body wasn't wearing gloves.
They got burnt up.
Up in the explosion.
Then she was wearing gloves.
Well, yeah.
Gloves.
No, it's wrong.
Okay.
No, there's no way the corpse was wearing gloves. Whoever it was, they were wearing fake nails, remember? I imagine trying to wear gloves over nails like that would have been a pretty big pain. Besides, Kyoko wears gloves to hide her hands, right? It'd be pretty weird for someone who's self-conscious about their hands to wear fake nails.
Jeez, man, you don't know women, huh? They're complicated like that.
If anyone doesn't know women, it's you.
Got him! Got him!
Any thoughts?
Got
These
him!
gloves were
Got
custom
'em.
made to the size of my hands to
Epically.
make sure they don't interfere with my daily life. If I wore fake nails, the gloves wouldn't fit properly.
Then that's that. The dead body doesn't
Which should have been obvious since she's standing right here.
Thank you,
Yes,
Byakuya.
so then, who's the real victim? First,
That's the first thing I said. You're the one who's been dragging us around in circles.
Before anything, we need to identify the victim. Everything starts from there. Alright. So they want us to believe it's Mukuro. Well, it is Mukuro, but whatever.
if Kyoko really is still alive, then who died?
There's gotta be some way to figure it out.
I think it's this.
The face was scorched beyond.
No,
There
because
wasn't
let's
any
talk about the
description in
face.
Come on. Oh, if we can't identify the
Then there's nothing else we can do,
Fuck.
right?
Kyoko really... Then who died?
There's gotta be someone. I don't think so. And there wasn't any description in the by the body.
Then there's nothing else we can do, right?
Kyoko really... Then who died?
There's gotta be some. I don't think so. And there wasn't any description in the Monaco.
Then there's nothing else we can do, right? If Kyoko really is still...
Then who died?
There's gotta be some. I don't think so. The face was scorched beyond, and there wasn't any description. The body.
Alright, there we go. The animation looked weird. Like, it looked like it was shot after the...
There was one clue left behind.
Alright, there we
for us
go.
To identify the body.
Doo-doo.
For real?
For real?
Ryan will die a cruel and unusual death.
Cruel and unusual death. This I gotta see.
She's just being stupid. Ignore them, Makoto. Tell
The key to figuring out who it was is the tattoo on the back of her hand.
Oh, yeah. The design's pretty strange, huh? Her master must have made her get it. To be like, you're my bitch.
The way that line was delivered. Hold on, we need to... You can't replay sound bites in this game, that's right. This game sucks!
Seriously?
You're right.
You really did something that humiliating?
No, that's not it. The identity of the victim is hidden within that tattoo.
Oh, really?
When you compare the tattoo to other information we have,
I got it! The Fenrir Mercenary Corps. That's the name of the military group Mukuro Ikusaba belonged to.
Okay, so...
To show that they're a member of the team, each soldier that joins the squad would get a tattoo representing Fenrir's.
Fenrir?
the image, really? Is this what we're doing?
Now I understand. The representation of Fenrir is a wolf.
Fenrir, the Wolf of Ragnarok. It's from Norse mythology. A huge, world-ending wolf face. He's the child of the trickster god Loki, and a female giant.
Man, after all this time, we finally got a glimpse of the literary all-star.
A wolf tattoo.
Exactly. The body we found had a tattoo of a wolf, which means that person must have once belonged to Fenrir, so it must have been Mukuro.
What?
Well, hold on. Isn't...
You sound surprised, but you're absolutely right. Yes, indeed. The trial this time is to solve the murder of Mukuro.
Alright, thanks for
Ikusaba.
straight out telling us, Monokuma.
Are you saying the mastermind is dead? And now we have to have a cool last trial?
No. It means we were wrong in thinking that Mukuro was the mastermind at all.
But I mean, being the ultimate despair seems like a pretty mastermind.
Maybe we shouldn't have been thinking of her as the ultimate despair in the... After all, looking at her profile, I didn't see anything that would fit such a description. All it said was that she was the ultimate soldier. If I remember correctly, that other information came from Kyoko. That's what you told Makoto, right?
So that means Kyoko got it wrong?
Who was she? She's been gone this whole time, and when she finally turns up, she gets killed. Usually when there's a scene where an important character dies, it has a lot more detail.
So you're saying she wasn't an important character, which would mean she was the same as us. Just another participant.
Then who's the real mastermind?
It must have been the Hope's Peak Academy headmaster after all.
No, the headmaster has nothing to do with it.
But how can we trust that? We already know your information about Mukuro was wrong.
My information was not wrong.
Okay. We're in the middle of a trial right now. Figuring out who killed Mukuro is first and foremost.
Monokuma, you're
Please
acting
limit all
kinda
future
sussy.
parental chatter and chit-chat as much as possible.
Fine.
Monokuma,
Uncovering
you're
the
acting
identity
kinda
of the
sussy.
mastermind will have to wait. But remember this. No matter what happens, we will find out who you really are. I stake my family name on it.
I have officially decided to completely ignore all such attempts at provocation. Now then, just so nobody's confused, let me state this one more time for the record. The reason we're having a class trial is because a murder among the students has taken place. Hammer that point straight into your big old brain.
What you're saying is that both the victim and the culprit are part of the student body?
Then, one of us killed Mukuro?
Wait, no! There's a chance that there's some mystery 17th person who's been hiding all along!
Nope. There are only 16 students in total that have been taking part in these events.
Seriously? Then one of us killed Mukuro?
Who did it? Who's the killer this time?
Get a hold of yourself. We've already narrowed down the... I'm sure you realize who I'm talking about, right, Makoto?
There could only be 2 suspects.
I got it! You've narrowed
Okay.
it down to
Watch yourself.
Yoko and me.
Thank you for the follow, Penguin the Platinum Prodigy. I'm doing my replay through of Danganronpa. I already know what happens, but I thought it would be fun to replay the game since it came out on Switch.
Why do you say that?
Allow me to explain. Just after nighttime last night, I went to the garden, so I can confirm that at that point, there was no dead body there. So, the murder must have taken place after I left the garden. However, Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I were in the gym the entire time.
The gym?
That's fair. Yeah.
That's right. The 4 of us were there trying to dismantle Monokuma. The whole time, we were very careful not to go anywhere alone. We even went to the bathroom in pairs. All of which is to say, the 4 of us all have alibis. The only ones without alibis
Are me and Makoto. That's why you're able to narrow down the list of suspects.
exactly so.
So the only suspect now are me and Shoko. Damn it! I can't understand. Somehow I have to clear my name.
I have something I'd like to say regarding the whole alibi thing.
Are you thinking of raising an objection?
Well, before that, I just want to try and get a better idea of what time the murder took place. Doing that might reveal some kind of clue.
Whatever you want. Somebody go ahead and help him out.
Me and Byakuya can both confirm that the body was... Well, it was after nighttime for sure. I'd say it must have been around 10 o'clock. So the murder must have happened after 10 p.m.
Then I guess we can say the time frame for the murder was between then and when we found the
So,
body. Oh, but what time
this,
did we find the body?
has
When you
something
saw
to
the
do.
body first was Toko, right?
That was at like 9 o'clock.
I got it! The body must have been discovered at 9 a.m., since that's when Toko went to get the pickaxe.
Now then, Toko, what time is it? Well, when we left the gym, it was 9. It was just before 9 o'clock. So it's really right on the dot now. Okay, go get the pickaxe and we'll be back here by 9:01.
Right. It had to be around then.
So we can be totally sure the murder happened sometime between 10 at night and 9 in the morning.
For me, I was already asleep before nighttime hit, so I don't have an alibi after 10 o'clock. But I'm sure I met up with everyone else before 9 this morning.
We ran into each other in the dining hall, right? That was around... Oh yeah! Right around 7:30. I remember checking right before I went in, so I'm totally sure about it.
Which means from 10 p.m. to 7:30 a.m., you don't have an alibi.
The murder happened. Looks like the game was begun. If I can't provide an alibi, I have to prove the murder didn't take place during that time period at all. Okay, so this is where the sprinklers come in, right? I've seen the anime for this game.
We've established a time frame for the murder. It took place somewhere between 10 o'clock at night and 9 o'clock in the morning.
So I want to disagree with Byakuya there.
Kodo doesn't have an alibi for most of that time.
Yeah, from 10 o'clock to 7:30.
That's more than enough time to commit murder, I should think. So Makoto, if you have...
Have any objections, now would be the time.
Which one do I want to disagree with?
We've
7:30,
established a
right?
time frame for the murder.
It took place somewhere
Between 10 o'clock at...
and 9 o'clock in... Yep, and Makoto...
Yeah, from to 7:30.
We've established a
Time frame. It took place between 10 o'clock at night
And 9 o'clock in the... Yep. And Makoto just...
Yeah, and it's 7:30.
That's more than enough time to... So Makoto, if you have any objections, now would be the time. We've established
A time frame for the murder.
Then is it
Somewhere
this?
between 10 o'clock at night
and 9 o'clock in... Yep. And Makoto...
Yeah, and it's
Okay, so I'm disagreeing with...
We've established a time frame for the murder.
It took place somewhere between...
No, it's wrong. Actually, the murder couldn't have happened anywhere near 10 o'clock. It had to have taken place way later.
And what makes you say that?
Because of the sprinklers in the garden. The sprinklers are set to go off right at 7:30 every morning, right? So if the body had been in the garden before 7:30, then it should have been completely soaked.
Oh, hold on. I remember this part perfectly. The body was wet.
Sorry, Toko, but you're wrong.
I'm wrong? How? Are you saying only the mouth down south was wet? How dare you use such
Yes!
offensive words?
That is what I'm saying.
I'm saying that the body was wet, but not because of the sprinklers.
Well, I mean... She's not wrong. Oh no, only the mouth up top was wet.
By denying the sprinkler, are you trying to deny my entire existence?
Man, you're totally wacko.
If you really think it wasn't the sprinkler, you'd better tell us why.
I need to prove that it wasn't the sprinklers.
I admit nothing. No! No! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing.
What are the controls again? How do I reload?
No! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I admit nothing. No! No! Are you trying to blame me?
Why are you so defensive about this?
No!
That's kind of sussy, if you ask me.
Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I admit nothing. No!
Fuck.
I refuse to give up yet.
I'm awful at these segments.
I admit nothing. No! No! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. No! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? I admit nothing. I admit nothing. No! That's enough! Are you trying to blame me? How can you say it was...
This should prove it.
Okay, there we go.
Just remember what the body was like after the explosion. and you'll see why it wasn't the sprinkler. The top half of the body was wet, yes, but the bottom half
The
was
mouth down
completely
south
dry.
was dry, as you would say.
If the sprinklers got the body wet, shouldn't the whole body have been wet?
So they only got the top wet? The bottom was completely dry? What a brutal maniac!
I'm so sick of her.
Let's just move on. The reason only the top
Same.
half was wet was because while the body was still on fire, I doused it with water. But only the part on fire.
Oh, then I guess the sprinklers really didn't work.
So if the sprinklers didn't get the body wet, sometime after the sprinklers turned on at 7:30 in the morning.
Which means she must have been killed sometime between then and
The
when
body could have been taken from somewhere else
But
to
Makoto's
the...
alibi was only missing from 10 o'clock last night.
So there's no way Makoto could have done it. I guess you had an alibi after.
Well, someone could have taken the
In
body.
this case, the only one left without an alibi is Kyoko.
No, I
I'd
refuse to
just like
believe
to say
it.
one thing. If you vote for me and I die here, the mystery of this school will stay hidden forever, which is why I can't let that happen.
I mean, the body could have been taken from somewhere else at
So are
7:30.
you saying you're not the culprit?
Of course I'm not. I have no reason to kill anyone. This is a trap the mastermind has laid for us.
A trap?
We're this far into the game, and now you decide to blame me? Stop wasting time! Stop wasting energy! You really think your little trick is gonna work?
Shut up, you!
You got it, boss!
Got him.
Shut it up now!
Anyway, Kyoko, you actually did have a reason to kill her.
Huh? She did?
She thought Mukuro was the ultimate despair. In other words, the mastermind behind everything. So she killed her to try and put a stop to all this. Isn't that right, Kyoko?
Isn't that right?
But you made one catastrophic mistake. Mukuro wasn't the mastermind at all, and as a result, we were forced into another trial, something I'm sure you weren't at all expecting.
So, that was her motive?
If she had a motive and no alibi, well then, I think it's pretty clear Kyoko's gotta be the culprit.
I'm not the only one without an alibi. Makoto's explanation is still insufficient.
Huh?
The sprinklers didn't get the body wet, but that doesn't mean the murder happened when he said it did. Because you see, there is a way the body could have avoided getting wet.
Interesting. I'm listening.
All it would take is covering the body with a certain something to keep it from getting wet.
A certain something at the crime we used to cover the body could have been...
I got it! You're talking about the tarp, aren't you?
You catch on quick. You're right. All you'd have to do is cover the body with the tarp, and that'd take care of the water. In fact, that's exactly what the killer did. The dirt pattern on the tarp can attest to that. Only one side of the tarp got dirty, because that's the side that got covered in water. The side that faced down over the body, meanwhile, kept perfectly clean. This proves that the killer used the tarp to keep the body from getting soaked.
But why would
No,
they
there
go
would have
to
been
all
blood
that
on the
effort just
tarp,
to keep
right?
The body from...
Most likely so they could cloud the issue of when the murder actually took place. In other words, to create an excuse exactly like the one Makoto just gave us.
Why would Kyoko say that? Why would you want to make me look like the killer? That tarp! The tarp must have touched the body, right?
And what might that be? By
I
covering
think
the body
it's
with the tarp,
body before the explosion.
the killer prevented it from getting wet.
So the reason the tarp was only dirty on one side It's because the sprinkler got that side wet.
But the underside of the tarp, it was totally spotless, right?
It's because that side was the water.
That's true.
Since it was facing down toward the body, of course it didn't get dirty.
No, it's wrong.
Okay, there we go.
Actually, one side being clean is pretty strange if you think about it. Because the blood wasn't dry before the body got blown up, right? Yakuya said it himself. Not to touch it, or you might get some on you. If you put a tarp on a body in that state, it absolutely would have gotten blood on it.
Well, maybe the culprit washed it. So
If they had, they would have washed both sides. Just washing.
oh, yeah, true.
More than that, what if the very blood we saw on the body was meant as a kind of camouflage? What if, after the killer used the tarp to avoid the sprinklers, they then covered the body in blood that didn't belong to the victim?
You mean someone else's blood?
I mean, there's blood in the...
They could have grabbed some of the blood packs from the nurse's office. That's what Hifumi did, right? When he pretended to be dead?
No, that's not what happened this time. The killer got the blood from right there in the garden.
Which must mean...
I got it! Could it have been chicken blood?
Which looks exactly like... I know
When
it's the
I
same
checked the chicken
viscosity.
before the murder. But after the murder,
There are still 6 chickens. The art looks exactly the same.
So, you're saying someone killed a chicken and then covered the body with its blood? Man, that's messed up.
Killing a living thing just to do something like that is awful. They should have at least eaten it.
What?
I wonder if the killer had to get the blood from the scene so they wouldn't be spotted walking around. Anyway, there's no denying that a chicken went missing, which provides a basis for my theory.
Perhaps, but even so, there's one thing that still doesn't make sense. You said the culprit used the tarp to avoid the water, but if that's the case, then the blood should have soaked into the ground around the body. But that's not what we saw. Only the victim's clothing had blood on it. The ground was completely clean.
I have to agree, that certainly is strange. Maybe they didn't apply the blood at the scene. Maybe they covered the coat in blood beforehand and covered it. When you discovered the body, was it wearing the coat like you normally would?
I think so. Wait, no. The head was through the neck hole, but the arms weren't in the sleeve.
Then that settles it.
Sorry, I'm having a tough time keeping up. What settles what?
Here's what happened. The murder took place before the sprinklers went off. But the body didn't get wet, because then, later, at the same time the killer was gathering up the tarp, they pulled the coat over the body. The coat they'd already covered in blood. This series of cover-ups was meant to disguise the actual time the murder occurred. They wanted us to think the murder happened sometime after the sprinklers had gone off.
If that's actually what took place, it certainly becomes possible that the murder happened early.
But to pull all that off, wouldn't they have had to go back to the garden after the sprinklers turned off?
That actually wouldn't have been all that difficult, huh? They already had the coat ready, so they just had to grab the tarp and pull. They'd be done in no time.
Maybe.
Hina, after you met up with Makoto in the dining hall, did you two stay together from that point?
Oh no. I headed off to the gym, and
Then he had plenty of time to spare, wouldn't you say?
That's not...
Don't bother saying it's not possible.
I must admit, Kyoko's reasoning is sound. Makoto's alibi is inadequate.
And the suspicion falls back on me. But why? Why is Kyoko trying to entrap me? I don't understand. Disguised dead body has been added to the truth bullet section of your handbook. The murder took place before the sprinklers turned on. The suspect covered the tarp with the body in order to prevent it from getting wet. Later, when they removed the
Well then, it looks like we're back to square one. Makoto's alibi is no good, so...
For serious, man? Which one of them did it? Hey, why don't we let luck decide? Let's flip a coin. 50-50 odds.
Oh!
See? Pretty good idea, right?
No, not that. I just remembered something super serious.
Oh, I
Don't
just
just
remembered
stand there.
something.
Out with it.
You know that knife we found all black and burnt?
One we found stuck in the body before it... According to the Monokuma file... So, what about...
I'm pretty sure I'd seen that's what I thought when I first saw it.
You don't seem surprised. You must have noticed.
Yeah,
Then why did you hide that fact?
it's not that I hid it.
I couldn't be sure of what actually happened last night. I thought maybe I really did kill her.
The knife we found stuck in the body came from Makoto. Now I'm totally convinced he did it.
I should be able to make it clear. I'm not the culprit. What?
The knife we found lodged in the dead body. It's the same one we gave to Makoto.
That's true.
It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then... That seals it! Makoto did it!
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting stabbed is what killed her, right? So there's no...
No,
question.
the arrows.
You took that knife of yours and killed her with it.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto. The knife we found lodged in the dead body. It's the same one we gave to Makoto. It really is, isn't it? I was afraid.
Is it this?
If he did have that, that seals it. Look, just because I had it, that automatically... Well, getting...
Stabbed is...
I missed.
What a horrible man you are, Makoto. The knife we found, it's the same one. It really is, isn't it?
If he did have that, that seals it. Look, just because I had it, that automatically make... Well,
Getting... Killed her, right? Shoot!
The knife we found lodged in the dead body. It's the same one we gave to Makoto. It really is, isn't it? I was afraid of that.
If he did have that knife before, then... That seals it! Makoto did it!
Just because I had the knife once, that automatically makes me the killer?
Well, getting
Oh, I was just randomly guessing.
Wait, hold on. The stab wound isn't what killed Mukuro. That should be clear from the description of the cover-up we just heard.
lies! We never talked about what killed her!
No, don't you remember? The killer covered the dead body with the tarp, and then put the bloody coat on it. In other words, the victim never wore that blood-stained coat until after they were dead.
Okay, fine. So what?
So, when we discovered the body, the knife had been thrust through the coat along with the body. Meaning, if she wasn't stabbed until the coat was put on, and she was already dead at that point, obviously the stab wound isn't what killed her.
Maybe you stabbed her twice. Once to kill her and once to cover it up.
The victim was stabbed twice in the same spot? No, that isn't possible because... there was no blood on the ground.
Shoot.
I got it! The Monokuma file clearly states that there was only one stab wound.
Oh yeah, it sure did. Totally forgot about that.
Then the knife.
Was just another piece of camouflage set up by the true killer. They probably stabbed her to draw attention away from what actually killed her. Exploding the body afterward was probably meant to do the same thing. The explosion severely damaged the body, making it impossible to know what really killed her. It was all the killer's attempt to destroy all evidence of their crime.
So they wanted us to notice the stab wound and then detonated the body afterward. They meant for us to latch onto the knife as the cause of death, then destroy...
Oh, hey, I have a question. What's the deal with that explosion anyway? Why'd the body just...
If you bothered to put that lump of gray matter between...
Well, if you're so smart, just tell me.
I'll tell you. I bet some unknown quantum particle causing atomic levels.
Yeah, okay.
I might be dumb, but even I'm not dumb enough to believe that.
So you
Go
admit you're
ahead,
dumb.
Makoto. Tell her or we won't make any headway on this.
You do it, Makoto.
I got it! After the explosion, we found a tiny fragment of something on the ground near the body, right? That fragment reveals the cause of the explosion.
Huh? You know, I feel like I've seen something like it somewhere before.
That's only natural. We saw the same thing when we dismantled Monokuma. It's part of a bomb.
Oh! Then the explosion was because of the Monokuma bomb.
Anyway, the culprit's motive is becoming more and more obvious by the minute. They wanted the knife wound to look like the fatal injury so that we'd suspect Makoto. And the only one who would benefit from that
Would be Kyoko.
is the only other possible suspect. You, Kyoko.
Hold on a second, Byakuya.
What's the problem?
Well, I just feel like we need to think this through. We still don't know what act...
That's true. It's definitely bugging me. What really killed her?
Fine. I have no problem with that. Let us continue the debate. It won't change the facts of the case for... Then, shall we continue the debate? The victim's fatal injury has yet to be determined, correct?
The explosion didn't kill her for sure. I guess.
Well, yeah, He was already totally dead when that happened.
And it wasn't you because of the knife, right? And then there's only one other thing.
Oh yeah. According to the Monokuma file, that's gotta be it. There was evidence that showed she was hit on the back of her head.
And more than that, the victim had suffered countless wounds.
Across her entire body.
Then, shall we continue the debate?
I mean, Byakuya is right there,
Be determined.
No, it's wrong.
but we have to get the answer wrong here, so...
Mukuro died because of the blow to the back of the head she suffered.
What about the wounds all over the rest of her body? They didn't have anything to do with it?
The Monokuma file makes it clear that those weren't fresh wounds.
Oh yeah, good point. If they were old, I guess they don't really...
Okay, then we're safe in assuming the
No,
blow
they
to the
don't
back of
really
her head
matter.
is what killed her.
Oh, they don't really matter.
What was the murder weapon? The Monokuma file says she was hit with a blunt object, about as thick as a metal pipe.
Oh! I bet it was the pickaxe!
How is that even possible? If you hit someone with that, it'd cave their skull in.
What if you held the, just for argument's sake, what if you held, like, the pickaxe part, and then swung the handle?
Well, maybe they held it the other way and hit her with the handle.
Yeah.
No way! The balance would be all off. You wouldn't
Would
be able
it?
to swing it with any kind of power.
Would it?
Wouldn't mind testing it on you if you want.
No thanks. I bet you just hit me with the metal end and call it an accident.
I'd love to scoop out that nasty brain of yours, throw it on the
What?
ground and spit on it.
I feel the same way. Looks like we're on the same page this time.
Seriously?
We want to figure out what killed her, right? It just so happens we already know.
Huh?
We already know? I knew we could count on you, Master.
So what was it?
Go ahead and tell them, Makoto. Surely you've deduced the real murder weapon?
I got it! Mukuro was hit in the back of the head with something. And that's what killed her. And that something was the titanium arrow we found in the locker in the dojo.
Arrow. That's what the culprit attacked Mukuro with?
Indeed. There's no doubt about it.
Are you sure? Hey! How dare you backtalk, Master? You have no right!
I'm not back-talking anything. I'm just saying what I think.
The titanium arrow. It was in the dojo locker, right? I have no doubt that was the murder weapon.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced. What's the problem?
Well, because in the Monokuma file, it said the weapon must have been about as thick as a metal pipe, right? It seems like an arrow would just be too thin.
Talking back to Master! You have no right!
The titanium arrow.
It was in the dojo, I have no doubt.
Are you sure?
You don't sound convinced.
Well, but it said the weapon must. It seems like.
No, it's wrong. You're right. Just the one arrow would have been too weak. That's why the killer used another weapon.
Another weapon?
Inside the dojo locker, we also found a balled-up wad of duct tape.
Why would they put it
Killer
there?
probably uses duct tape to bind multiple arrows together. Bundling them together using
And not
the
just
duct tape
keep
would
it on
easily
themselves.
create a single weapon as thick as a pipe. And that's exactly what the killer did.
It's similar to Aesop's fable about the bundle of sticks. One stick is weak,
but put them together, and they become strong.
Dang, that's harsh.
How is it harsh? You even listening.
Anyway, that explains the murder weapon. As for who the culprit is that stashed the weapon, it was you, Kyoko.
I've never been to the dojo.
Oh no, you absolutely have.
How can you say that with such confidence?
Because we have proof, of course. Don't we, Makoto? What's the matter? Surely you don't intend to protect a murderer. You know what will happen if you do, don't you? If you cover for the culprit, there's only one thing that can lead to the death of us all. Remember?
Of course I remember.
Then show us. Show everyone the...
Who found it? Who found the woodblock key? Because if I found it, then I could have planted it.
Kyoko was in the dojo is right here. The key to the dojo locker.
And how does that prove anything?
Because I found it in your room.
It was in my room?
Don't bother trying to play dumb. That key is just the final piece of the puzzle. Your non-existent alibi, your clear motive, your attempts to frame Makoto for the crime. This all proves that you are the true culprit.
Hold on a second.
Not this again. You really are dead set on defending her, aren't you?
No, it's not that I want to defend her. It's just there's one more thing I need to ask her. Kyoko, I want you to tell me something. Last night, you were in my room, weren't you? Why? What were you doing there? That's what I need to know.
I was just protecting you.
What?
She was protecting me, and then does that mean she knew I was being attacked, and she came to my rescue? Could that be when? Which would mean that Kyoko
That's
killed
enough.
someone
The
for
time
me?
for idle chatter is over.
Wait, I'm warning you. Don't make this mistake. I'm not the killer.
I knew you were stubborn, but this is just getting ridiculous.
Really? But you should know better than anyone I didn't do it. Can you tell me I'm wrong?
I should know.
Okay, so this is another... Wait, what is Byakuya's account?
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Byakuya stated that the corpse in the garden after nighttime... There was no corpse in the garden after nighttime last night. So it could be so... Seeing the murder must have taken place sometime after that.
Exactly what I said. I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than anyone here.
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke. What do you mean?
Exactly what I said.
I have no idea.
I'm not the killer. You should understand that more than
What am I
anyone
supposed to do here?
Byakuya, what are you hiding?
I'm gonna look it up.
Master would never hide something from me!
There's proof that you aren't the culprit. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory earlier. You said I hid the evidence of my crime in the dojo locker, and then left the locker key in my own room, correct? But could I really have done that?
Those words you just spoke.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what this could have meant.
You should understand. Master would never hide something.
There's proof that you aren't the culprit.
Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory, or
You said I
hid the evidence and then
left the locker key in
shoot.
Oh, it's the other way around. I'm using a guide for this part, for this one part.
Those words you just spoke.
Exactly. I'm not the killer. You should understand. Master would never.
There's proof that you are. Is that what you're saying?
You stated a theory. You said I hid the
and then left the locker key in my own room.
But could I really have done that?
Those words you just.
Exactly. I'm not the killer. You should understand. Master would never.
There's proof that you aren't.
No, it's wrong. If I'm right, Kyoko wouldn't have been able to get into her room.
So, Teenage City Riot got a full release,
Why not?
which is exciting for me because, like, I thought that song was lost to the waste, except for the leak, but whatever, we don't talk about it. But anyway,
I see. So that's what you meant. And if I had the key to your room,
Then obviously
now it can be
I
on
had
streaming
no way of
platforms,
getting in.
which is really cool. So,
Without my room key, I couldn't have possibly.
it's finally getting a full release.
Myself. Am I wrong?
it would appear not.
Then you're finally starting to understand.
No, that's not actually true. There's a clear contradiction in what Kyoko told us, an obvious lie. But this isn't like her. To try and save herself with such a desperate lie. Does she really feel that threatened because she's the killer? Or is there something else? Was there some deeper meaning behind what Kyoko said earlier? The mastermind's trapped. The mastermind is trying to trap Kyoko, but what if that's not really true? What can I do? What can I do? What should I... The mastermind's trapped. The victim was Mikuro and Kyoko killed her. What does Kyoko really do? Kyoko's lie. I'm the only one who knows the lie. I'm the only one who can expose it. But who can I trust? Gee, I wonder what I'm supposed to do. Run away. No, running away won't solve anything. I made my decision. I have to believe in Kyoko. There's no way she would kill someone. There has to be some secret here. That has to do
Well,
with Mastermind's
does
trap
no
that
one have
Kyoko
you decided to
mentioned.
accept her assertion as fact? I see. So you still I suppose we have to admit that Kyoko didn't put the
But who else could it have been?
I mean, Byakuya had a room key, right?
But of course I have an alibi. From nighttime, I couldn't possibly have killed anyone.
Someone had to put the key in there.
There's only one other possibility I can think of. Someone could have had the key on them, then once they arrived at the scene, pretend to...
It had to be Makoto, right?
I don't see any other option.
Wait a second. You've got it all wrong. Let's think about it one more time. There's gotta be a hidden side to this case.
Huh? A hidden side?
First of all, there's something off about this entire trial. You all see it, don't you? Mukuro, who we didn't even know existed, suddenly shows up dead. And then we're thrown into a trial. And Kyoko even said, it's a trap the mastermind set for us. So that's why this has to be...
Okay, time's up!
Huh?
Time's up! Class trial's all over! Everyone can stop talking now!
What? Time's up?
What do you mean time's up? There's no time's up. Since when have we...
It's because you were late, so we had to push back the start time. So then, it's time for voting time, okay?
Voting time?
Goodbye. No, I didn't get an A! That's so cringe of me!
Who will be
That's so
chosen as the
cringe of me!
Will you make the right choice?
Hey, hold on!
What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
What? You think I'm the killer? Sorry, man. Yeah, sorry. It's all your fault. I didn't do it. Good job, everyone! Yep, they got it right! No, I know that's not true. This whole trial doesn't make any sense. It makes perfect sense. It's the same as always. It's going to end like all the other class trials. And I'm going to end the same way. It's time for your punishment.
I don't expect you to forgive me. I know this is all my fault.
Kyoto?
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
My man Makoto does forgive her though. Like, he gets sent to his death. He gets accused by one of his friends, sent to death by all of his friends, comes back alive, and then straight up forgives them all right away. No questions asked. Like, y'all could learn something from Makoto. Oh! Deus Ex Machina, look at that, wow! Huh? Huh? What's this? What's going on? Hey, was that? Oh yeah, it had to be. Alter Ego. Alter Ego? Is this some stupid virus from that stupid girl? She must have planted it when she invaded my network. Damn it all to hell! I don't believe this. It seems you made a miscalculation. No, you miscalculated from the very beginning. What was that? I'm saying you shouldn't have underestimated us. Why are you talking like you've already won? I barely felt a thing. It was a pinch, an itch. Speaking of itches, my fucking back has been itching all day, and I'm not allowed to scratch it because it isn't bug bites. It's my wound from my fucking surgery. The stupid virus is gone now, and so is Makoto. Maybe I didn't get a smash and flat, but you're never gonna see him right. To waste away in a garbage chute pit in a way that's an even better special punishment. But it's still not enough. I'm still not satisfied. I'm gonna bring despair to the rest of you. Bring despair to the whole world. Is he gone? Hey Kyoko, what is the meaning of all this?
Calm down.
It's okay. We're not being the ones
In
trapped.
other words.
Now it's the mastermind that's ensnared.
So...
You'll understand soon enough. Very soon indeed. Huh? It says that when you come here and manage to graduate, you'll be set for life. It's said to build hope. There are two things you need. You need to be attending high school, and you need to be the very best at what you do. And there, starting was me. What? Where am I? What the heck is going on? Finally, I could finally feel my mind and body starting to come back again, and then I was awake. Or was this just another dream? A dream inside a hopeless nightmare? No, this isn't a dream. I could tell because the stench invading my nostrils was too powerful for a dream. What an awful smell. This must be some kind of underground garbage pit. Not after what my good friend went through to save me. Alter Ego saved me, and she used up the last bit of her strength to do it. So I can't give up now, for myself and for my friend. It's locked. No matter how many times I push or pull. I decided to look for some food. There's plenty of food here, but it's all rotten, but that's just pointless too. Next, I search for some water. How can I be sure which liquids I can drink and which ones are a bad idea? I feel like I'm blocked on all sides. But I'm still alive. As long as I'm alive, I'll never give up. What the? Did something fall down over here? Something fell from above. What could it have been? Could Kyoko just have dropped the key down the trash chute? A giant piece of trash. Rude.
It smells.
This place smells awful. You look like you're doing better than I expected. What are you doing here? Is it obvious? I need to help you. You've got a bit of garbage in your hair.
Hey.
First, I have something for you. Go ahead and eat it. We can talk once you finish. Thank you. That really hit the spot. Now I have all the energy I need to keep going. So I haven't given up yet. Of course not. The fact that I can keep going forward is all about all I'm good at. Well, that's not such a bad thing to be good at. But Kyoko, why'd you come to rescue me? To pay a debt. No, to atone. Atone. During the trial, even though you knew I was lying, you didn't say anything.
Indeed.
So you knew that I knew. Even though I knew, I did nothing to help you. I abandoned you. Don't say that. You didn't abandon me. No, that's exactly what I did. I abandoned you in order to save my own life. You were trying to save me, and I couldn't bring myself to do the same for you. But listen, not that I'm trying to make excuses, but there was a reason I had to survive no matter the cost.
It's true.
I'll tell you everything. The reason I have to survive,
In other words,
is so that I can do what I came to the school to do. I made up my mind to come to Hope's Peak for a very important reason.
indeed.
At least I did once. Until recently, I've forgotten what it was. I have no memory of what my purpose was. Then is it really true you lost your memory? Do you remember, Makoto? Do you remember the first thing that happened to each of us when we went into the school? When we fainted, right?
That's right.
When we fainted. And when I woke up, I noticed a strange feeling of separation from myself. Thinking back on it now, at that point, my memory was gone. At that time, I'd forgotten. I couldn't remember why I'd come to school. I couldn't remember what an ultimate ability was.
Hey.
It's hard to imagine it by chance.
Indeed.
I'm positive it was a work of the mastermind. But why'd they want to do that? There's only one reason I could come up with, because of my purpose and my ability. Somehow that would interfere with the mastermind's plans. Then why was the mastermind's memory stealing so, like, particular that it let Kyoko's memory come back right at this moment? Somehow my memories may be connected to the mystery of the school and the mastermind, which is why I have to get them back. I've been investigating things myself this whole time.
Why is that?
If I did that and we all worked as one, the mastermind would have noticed right away. Plus, there's always the chance that the mastermind is actually one of us. Well, don't make too big a deal of it. It's just a possibility. But since it is a possibility, we can't ignore it, right?
However,
That being said, there was a limit to what I could do by myself, which is why I asked you to help me. Because among everyone, you were the least likely to be the mastermind. That was just intuition, but your intuition was right, though. There's no way an ordinary kid like me could have been the mastermind.
I should like goal. It's
Good. How did that just happen? Oh yeah, it's nothing. It is nothing, right? Even now, I still trust you, It's just I'm not used to relying on others. I know that I never asked you for help the right way, so I understand if you're not convinced. You said you had a reason for doing all that investigating on your own. So how'd that turn out? Were you able to remember anything? I think there's a lot I don't remember. At the very least, I was able to recall my purpose and my ability. You mentioned your ability. My ability, what everyone should have known before. I'm the ultimate detective. Wow, who could have seen that one coming? It's not like she fucking carried us through all the trials.
Correct.
And the reason I came to Hope Street Academy, there was someone I had to find here in the school. Well, it was the headmaster. Because he's my father.
In other words,
I was separated from him as a child. As it turns out, he became the headmaster of Hope's Peak. I will find the headmaster, no matter the cost. My memory hadn't come back at that point, but when she said that, I felt strange. It makes perfect sense now, of course, as my whole purpose for you was to find him.
However...
But listen, Makoto, I'd want to make this perfectly clear so there's no misunderstanding. I said the headmaster wasn't the mastermind, but I didn't say that to protect him. I only said that based on what I felt after I snuck into the headmaster's room.
So...
The room had been ransacked, the shelves were a mess, the drawers dumped on the floor. The only conclusion is that someone who didn't know where anything was had been in there.
It's true.
And to confirm my suspicion, I decided to investigate the second floor of the dorms using the key I'd found. Because I also found this in the headmaster's room.
Indeed.
It's a layout of the entirety of Hope Street Academy. I found it in the headmaster's room along with Muko's profile on the key. The map showed that the second floor was home to a number of rooms that was meant for faculty use. Some of the staff must have had to stay overnight from time to time, and I figured the headmaster would have had some private room there.
Correct.
I went there to check, and that's where I finally remembered. I remembered that my purpose was to find the owner of that room. So I went there to see if the headmaster really did have a private room there. But once I noticed that the second floor of the dorms didn't have any cameras or monitors. Then when I saw it, I realized whatever going on in the school is much more horrific than we ever realized.
So...
I can't explain it. You need to see for yourself, and I'm sure you get your chance soon enough.
However...
Of course... Which is why I had no idea what was going on in the rest of the building. It has to do with Mukuro Ikusaba. Just to be clear, I didn't kill her, and I know it wasn't you either. But that means everyone but you had an alibi, so then who did kill her? The mastermind is directly involved. The point of the class trial was to get me killed.
Indeed.
I stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me. That was the point of the class trial. The mastermind knew they couldn't interfere directly.
That's right. In other words...
The mastermind is adamant about following the rules, and with that rule in place, they couldn't step in. Since they couldn't kill me themselves, you had to use the class trial to do it.
Hey.
There's one other thing I'd like to point out about the murder of Mukuro Ikusaba. There's a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. It could have been you, Makoto.
Indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Do you mean when the sussy man attacked me? I can hear them, the footsteps of the god of death. What? Huh? I can hear the god of death as he moves. That naturally draws me to cases just like this. Which is exactly what happened with... What? Shinigami? Death Note? I was in the dorms and I had a sudden sense of dread. I looked down the stairwell and I saw a white shadow cross the corridor. I gave chase right away and I saw it go into your room.
Correct.
I ran to your room when I saw what was happening. I intervened immediately, of course.
However,
That wasn't the end of things. I stopped them, but that led to... Whoever the masked assailant was, they ended up dead. And their murder was disguised, and the dojo key ended up in my room. It has to be the work of the mastermind, and an attempt to use the flash card to eliminate me. So that means that whoever killed Mukuro is also the mastermind, correct? That really is true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they... That's really bad if true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. Because they couldn't interfere. That is a contradiction. And not just Mukuro. They need the Clash shot to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in the room. Everything they did is a contradiction.
in other words,
It means the mastermind's the one that's been cornered.
Makoto.
Just a little more, and I should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity. The identity of the other ultimate despair. It's no doubt that Mukuro was the ultimate despair and that she's dead, but I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person.
Indeed.
If you think about it, the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event.
That's right.
The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The tragedy, whoever's responsible for that, they're the ultimate despair. That despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. And they're the root of all this evil that caused us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair, and that is our real enemy. And that is where we're going to be ending the stream. Thank you all very much for watching. And be sure to follow. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.